It's just such a wonderful story, but how difficult is it to play the role of someone who's still alive and well and walking around on the set?
Well, I seem to have done it once or twice now. There is a difficulty. The difficulty is that you're limited more than you are with fiction. You have to keep a certain line, and at the same time you have to treat it as though it were fiction, because you can't expect the audience to say, well, this is true, therefore you're going to accept it. So you still have to make it work on its own. Well, I was going to say 2 legs, but in this case on its own 6 legs. Yes.
But do you tend, for example, if Bob Champion is on the set, I mean, do you tend to either allow him to influence you in any way or to check something out at the last minute?
Well, no, because I had a pact with Bob, because I find it very much easier to be able to work from the imagination. And we weren't trying to do lookalikes or anything like that. And I suggested to Bob that though we remained the best of friends, that perhaps it wasn't as well to discuss what I was going to do. And he was very helpful. I mean, he could have been quite difficult. He could have been quite tricky and said, you know, if he was constantly saying things like, well, that's not what I do, that's not what I'm like, you know, it would have made life difficult for me.
But mind you, in the film, I mean, if you had tried to write that story with such an ending and all the rest of it, probably you might not have believed it all, because you've got every emotion in it.
Well, I think, yes, in a sense, it's a melodrama. And the only way you can shoot a melodrama now is to do it if it's real, if it's happened. It's too much, yes. I mean, it's literally one of those things. I mean, and Birikos, who is the owner of Aldeniti, calls it a miracle. It is a miracle, as near as you go.
I mean, I know that you've done some riding in the past, but what was it like learning to ride those wonderful racehorses that we saw in the film?
Well, I believe there is a clip when I was first at Terry Biddlecombe's learning, where some people might have seen, where I came out of the side door. But it got better. It was hard work, though. But on the other hand, I mean, once you've learnt to ride that way, I wouldn't really want to ride any other way.
Did you mind you get a chance to ride on that great horse that won the Grand National in the end, along with Bob Champion?
Aldeniti, yes, indeed. Yeah.
So you were allowed near him? I
was allowed near him. I'm glad I wasn't allowed near him too often.
Mind you, the Grand National course, I mean, it's pretty horrific, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. When you get there, when you walk the course, it is staggering. It's enormous. I
mean, from which point of view? I mean, let's have an insight into what the course is like to ride.
Well, I mean, for a start, it's 30 jumps, and the jumps are bigger than anything else in National Hunt, and it's a 4.5-mile race. I mean, if you've seen jockeys coming off when they've managed to get halfway around and they fall and they come off, they're puce with energy. I mean, to be able to finish it, it requires a colossal amount of physical strength, apart from anything else. To be able to do that after you've had chemotherapy as well, only a year previously, not only get round but win it, is just incredible. That's all I can say.
Well, let's leave the movie aside just for a second, because it always seems to me that you play these powerful, emotional roles, but they do tend to be outsiders, don't they? I mean, like Max the Junkie in Midnight Express and 10 Rillington Place.
Yes, that's what people say. I'm not sure about that. I mean, I think if you put the searchlights of drama onto an individual, it will make them look as though they were an outsider in a way. Max, I don't think so much as particularly an outsider. He just happens to be one that's in that drama. There are plenty of other Maxes in plenty of other jails all over the world that nobody sees anything about. And Bob Champion, if you saw him walking down the street, you wouldn't say, there goes an outsider. He's a perfectly ordinary bloke. But because of the incidents that he's been through, particularly this one, it takes on a different perspective, I think.
But is it a question that you hang back and wait for these unusual roles? Because all of them aren't the norm, let's face it. Or is it a question that you've just been lucky that they've happened to come your way at the right time?
I'm waiting for somebody to describe to me what the norm is. But I don't know how it's happened. I don't know. It's not been planned. But I suppose that they are the more fascinating characters, perhaps.
If we're going to talk about outsiders or these outside roles, I mean, the Elephant Man is obviously the one that people will latch onto and think of. Now, I know that the first time I saw Elephant Man, I mean, I was pretty horrified the first time I looked at him. How did you feel when you looked in the mirror and saw the makeup for the first time?
Well, quite how I felt, it's difficult to say, because, I mean, the makeup was, the first time I had it put on was a 12-hour makeup. The whole of the cast had been kept waiting. And finally I turned up on the set. This is not how I felt, but John Gielgud, who played Cargom, the doctor in the film, there was total silence. I walked on, and John Gielgud turned around and he said, "Oh, good God, I do hope it's worth it." So that's how he felt. And I begged him not to say that too much. I said, "You crack the makeup," and it's taken 12 hours to go.
So you had to go through that then every day. There's not 12 hours of it, but how long on average did it take?
We whittled it down to 7.
Every day?
5 o'clock in the morning till noon, and then we shot from noon till 10:30 at night. Every other day.
I'm surprised that your skin actually managed to survive all of that.
Well, it's the plastic surgery and the makeup.
If we go back to your school days, it was a rather unusual prep school, but was that where you started to do the proverbial acting?
Yes, it was. Yes, I think I played the girl in The Bluebird when I was 9. But it was a school, actually, which did a lot of drama. I later played fascinating roles like the washerwoman in Scrooge. Don Farolo Whiskerandos, I think I played in The Critic. Things like that, which at a prep school, I suppose, were... But it was a very strange school, yes. The warden of that school called himself... There's something else interesting about the warden, I'll tell you later, actually, but the warden of that school called himself an Anglo-Papist, which anybody fascinated in religion might find that a contradiction in terms. But that particular warden, when he was at the warden of my school as an old man, I later discovered that Laurence Olivier was also under his tender care when he was at All Saints Margaret Street, when he was a young assistant housemaster, I believe.
So something in common with Sir Laurence.
And his father's a clergyman as well. Yeah.
Actually, did you find that watching your father in the pulpit was a bit like an act every Sunday?
Well, I've often said, really, it's the same profession, but a different department.
They say at the same time that you were very shy as a boy at school, and yet you turn up as a bit of a leader with your cub pack behind you and all the rest of it.
Ah, well, yes. I mean, shyness is a horrible word, isn't it, really? It makes you sound so wet, you know. But really, what it came from, I think, is that I find things that's so complex. By the time that I got round to saying something that I thought was covering all aspects, the conversation had moved on to something else, so I never really said anything. What was the other half of that?
The cub pack.
Oh, the cub pack, yeah. Well, I did that really to help my father out. I mean, I was 16 at the time, and I ran a cub pack of 30 boys. It was a very strong cub pack in Grimsby. St. George's Day Parade looked quite peculiar because I had all these 30 boys there, but none of them had any badges. I never got round to doing any badges. We had a terrific time, but we didn't get any badges. You'd see other packs of 6 strong with badges all down their arms. You know. There were only 6 of them. I thought, well, they can't be having too good a time. But I actually took them to camp as well. I had I think, 18 boys at one time for a whole week at camp when I was 16. I wouldn't dare do it now.
Nor would too many others, I don't think.
Yeah.
Let's bring it right up to date. I mean, here we are in this year of years, 1984, and I gather you're to star in Orwell's 1984.
Indeed.
But it was the rats, really, that caused a lot of problems to Winston Smith. So how do you think you're going to fare with the rats?
Well, Winston Smith didn't like rats, did he? No. Well, I'm not too fond of them, I must admit. I don't know how I'm going to deal with them. I'm very delighted to be doing the film, I must say.
Sounds like a great challenge to do
Something that
1984.
Terrific challenge, yeah. And it's a book that I've adored since I was about 20, so... And I've always reckoned it would make a film.
Well, John Hurt, the best of luck, and I'm sure the champions will do extremely well in this country now that it is on release. And thank you very much indeed.
Thank
John
you.
Hurt.